Today we will continue on with Love That Dog, reading pages 46 through 67. So if you remember from last time, Jack's teacher had read him a poem called Love That Boy, and it really made him associate it with the dog that he had gotten. And so he made that connection with the author. So we're going to continue on with that today. March 22nd. My yellow dog followed me everywhere. Every which way I turned, he was there, wagging his tail and slobber coming out of his mouth when he was smiling at me all the time, as if saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for choosing me," and jumping up on me, his shaggy, straggy paws on my chest like he was trying to hug the insides right out of me. And when his kids were playing outside, kicking the ball, he'd chase after it and push it with his nose. Push, 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 and getting slobber all over the ball. But no one cared because he was such a funny dog. That dog, Sky. That straggly, furry, smiling dog, Sky. And I'd call to him every morning, every evening, "Hey there, Sky." March 27th. Yes, you can type up what I wrote about my dog, Sky. But don't type up the other secret one I wrote, the one all folded up in the envelope with tape on it. That one uses too many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words, and maybe Mr. Walter Dean Myers would get mad about that. April 4th. I was very glad to hear that Mr. Walter Dean Myers is not the sort of person who would get mad at a boy for using some of his words. And thank you for typing up my secret poem, the one that uses so many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words. And I like what you put at the top, inspired by Walter Dean Myers. That sounded good to my ears. Now no one will think that I just copied because I couldn't think of my own words. They will know that I was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. But don't put it on the board yet, okay? Is Mr. Walter Dean Myers a live person? And if he is, do you think he would ever come to our city, to our school, to our class? And if he did, we should hide my poem with his words. Hide it real good, just in case. He would get mad about that. So see, Jack has become inspired by an author named Mr. Walter Dean Myers. So much so that he's concerned with what this author would think about him and his poetry. In the beginning, Jack would not have worried about what an author thought of him. Nor would he concern himself with making a poem like an author's. No. I can't do it. You should do it. You're a teacher. I don't agree that Mr. Walter Dean Myers might like to hear from a boy who likes his poem. I think Mr. Walter Dean Myers would like to hear from a teacher who uses big words and knows how to spell and to type. April 17th. Dear Mr. Walter Dean Myers, you probably don't want to hear from me because I'm only a boy and not a teacher, and I don't use big words. And you probably won't even read this, or even if you do read it, you're probably way too busy to answer it, let alone do the thing I'm going to ask you. And I know you know that's okay because our teachers say writers are very, 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 very busy trying to write their words. And the phone is ringing and the fax is going and the bills need paying and sometimes they get sick. I hope you're not sick, Mr. Walter Dean Myers, or their family gets sick, or their electricity goes off, or the car needs fixing, or they have to go to the grocery store, or do the laundry, or clean up messes. I don't know how you find the time to write your words if you have all that stuff, and maybe you should get a helper. So what I'm asking of you is this. If you ever get time to leave your house, and if you ever feel like visiting a school where there might be some kids who like your poems, would you ever maybe think about maybe coming maybe to our school, which is a clean place with mostly nice people in it, And I think our teacher, Mrs. Stretchberry, would maybe even make brownies for you because sometimes she makes them for us. I hope I haven't too much stopped you from doing your writing of words and fixing your cars and getting groceries and all that stuff just to read this letter, which is probably taking you maybe 15 minutes. And in that time, you could have maybe written a whole new poem or at least the start of one. And I'm so sorry for taking up your time. And I understand if you can't come to our clean school and read some of your poems to us and let us see your face, which I bet is a pretty friendly face. My name is Jack. Bye, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. So see, Jack enjoyed this poet so much that his teacher encouraged him to write to the poet. And he doesn't truly believe that the poet's going to take the time to answer a kid. But he wrote him anyways. April 20th. Did you mail it yet? Did he answer yet? April 24th. Months? It might take months for Mr. Walter Dean Myers to answer my letter if he answers it. I didn't know until you explained that the letter has to go to Mr. Walter Dean Myers' publisher company, and then somebody at the publishing company has to sort all the mail, not just my letter, but hundreds and hundreds of letters to hundreds of authors. All that big mess of mail piled up and someone sorting all that mail. And then the letters for Mr. Walter Dean Myers go to him, and maybe he's away. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's hiding in a room writing poems. Maybe he's babysitting his children or his grandchildren, if he's married and stuff. Or maybe he has to go to the dentist or get that car fixed. Or maybe somebody died. I really, really, really hope someone did not die. So if you ask me, it could take him years to get around to answering that letter. So I guess we better just forget about it, not count on it, get it out of our minds to do something else. Forget it. April 26th. Sometimes when you're trying not to think about something, it keeps popping back into your head. You can't help it. You think about it and think about it and think about it until your brain feels like a squashed pea. May 2nd. Yes, you can type up the thing about trying not to think about something, but you better leave my name off of it because it was just words coming out of my head and I wasn't paying too much attention to which words came out when. So see, Jack's teacher is trying to show him here that sometimes the best writing just flows out of us. It's not something that you stop and you think about. It's just your emotions being shown on paper. May 7th. Maybe you could show me how to use the computer and then I could type up my own words? May 8th. I didn't know about the spell checking thing inside the computer. It's like a miracle little brain in there, a little helper brain. But I am a slow typer person. Did you say there is a teaching typing thing in that computer too? Will it help me type better and faster? Tap, 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 so my fingers can go as fast as my brain? So see, Jack is now wanting to take responsibility for his own writing. He's wanting to put it in the way his brain thinks it should look like and what he thinks it should sound like. He is definitely growing and changing as an author. Okay, and that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll see you next time.